It is a time in Washington, D.C. where it makes no difference whether you're right, left, Republican, Independent, Democrat. It just seems to the American people as if no one can get along. No one wants to agree. No one wants to compromise. Everybody stands on principle, and it has basically stopped America cold in so many instances. How do we break the logjam? We have to keep asking. Let's do just that. Let's welcome back to MidPoint Republican Congressman representing Arizona's 5th District, Matt Salmon, joins us. Congressman, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you.
Congressman, here we go. This comes in the Atlantic, the publication here, and it is entitled The GOP's Wasted Winter. This caught my attention today because it says basically that here we have a winter that has gone by. Republicans have passed one bill of notes since January. That's the keystone. That was immediately vetoed by the president, and nothing is getting done. You sit there every day. You're part of this. What can you say to the American people about a Congress and a Republican Party, to many people, that just seems stagnated?
Well, I think that what's more frustrating than I can even elaborate on right now is we've got a president that has no disregard, or excuse me, has total disregard for the separation of powers. He truly believes that he has the authority to make laws, raise taxes, spend. He doesn't believe that Article 1 even exists. And I believe that our fight is extremely important. It's not just about governing. I hear it said by many, well, they just need to govern. Well, despots all over the world govern. It's not just about governing and making the trains run on time and passing bills. It's about doing it in a constitutional way that is the way our framework was set up over 250 years ago. And if we're not going to stand by the tenets that that many people have shed blood for to defend, if we're not going to stand up for that, then I fear honestly, I fear all is lost. I'm not believing that all is lost. I think that as long as there's fight in us, there are some that are willing to stand on principle and fight and fight and fight and try to make the president live by the oath that he took, the oath that we took, and that is to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
But what do you mean by you fear all is lost?
What I fear is that if we give up on our responsibility through the separation of powers to craft laws and to enact spending bills and to pass legislation, and we cede that responsibility to the president, then the Constitution is broken.
Well, wouldn't you have to admit, though, that the Constitution is broken already? Because people will say, certainly, what you've said is exactly true. There are people who say that the president has snapped the Constitution in half, yet the American public sits out there and says, you congressmen and others, you can't do anything about it. You lost on immigration, you lost on DHS funding, and it would seem to many people like the Democrats are just gleefully smiling at this point that they have beaten you and you can't touch them.
You know something? As long as there is a group of people that's still willing to fight and defend that Constitution, it's not lost. I think that as long as we're willing to stand up and fight, there will be a time, I believe, when the American public is going to rise up and they just simply won't tolerate this kind of activity anymore. And I truly do believe that the numbers of people that are willing to fight that fight are growing. They're growing in Congress. I think they're growing on the outside. I think people are becoming completely weary of both parties.
Well, what is that fight, Congressman? What exactly is that fight? What's the next step that's got to be taken here for a nation that's weary of the gridlock?
I think the fight has to be within the power of the purse. I mean, the idea that our founding fathers had when they gave us the power of the purse is exactly for a time such as this. When one of the branches of government, namely an administrative branch, takes powers that it doesn't possess, then we can operate through our power of the purse by defunding that. Now, this last battle, it was not won largely because I think the majority leader on the other side lacks a backbone.
Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. I think he lacks a backbone, and he's basically ceded authority for running that place to Harry Reid. And I think until the American people rise up and say, you know what, we're not going to stand for that anymore. Because the people that are here in office, they fear one thing more than anything, losing their job in the electorate.
You don't fear losing your job?
Not at all. I was looking for a job when I found this one, so that's okay with me.
Would you then say, I got about 20 seconds left, that Mitch McConnell's a coward?
I think that anybody who is not willing to stand and fight and defend their role in the Constitution is abdicating their duty and the oath of office that they've made.
And it would start right there, in your opinion. All right, Congressman Matt Salmon, strong words indeed, but I got to tell you, the American people keep talking to us by social media, and they keep asking these same questions. They want to see things get moving, so we got to look for the hard answers all the time. It's a pleasure. I hope to talk to you again real soon. Take care.
Right.
All right, it's something that we now have to consider because, let's face it, the American people have said, let's finally get moving. Benjamin Netanyahu got moving. He talked to Congress. And now Congress and other people are reacting whether or not he really did any good. That's coming up next, right here on MidPoint.